wasn't going to, I'm not going to ask you a question. I'm going to make a statement, then I have a question about a totally different subject. But, Mr. Secretary Penn, you know, it's always bothered me that the secretaries before you come before us with the fighting team. The fighting team is known as the Navy and the Marine Corps. And yet, it says witnesses, the Honorable B.J. Penn, Acting Secretary of the Navy. What happened to the team? Now, I'm not asking you that question. Let me get to the point. Then I'm looking at, in 2002, Marine Corps Commandant General James Jones, United States Naval Institute annual meeting, April 4th, 2002. Question: legislation has been introduced to rename the Department of the Navy. What is your view? This is the answer from the Commandant. The Secretary of the Navy, Gordon England, has no objection. The CNO, Chief Naval Operations Admiral Vern Clark, has no objection. I have no objection. It's what it is. So if it passes, we're happy with that. Maybe that's something that is an idea that lawmakers believe whose time has come. Well, I'm not going to ask the CNO. I'm not going to ask the acting secretary. I'm not going to ask the commandant. I'm not going to put anyone on the spot. But I will tell you that one of the things that has bothered me greatly, with all that's being done by the fighting team, Navy and Marine Corps, that when a Marine dies and the Secretary of the Navy sends a condolence letter to the wife of a Marine who gave his life for this country, there is nothing in the heading but the Department of Navy, Washington, D.C., and then the first sentence is the Navy family extends its condolences. It is time that the Department of Navy and Marine Corps become one fighting team. And I'm pleased to tell you today that many people here and that are not here, we have 249 members of the House have signed legislation to rename the Department of Navy, and Marine Corps. And I want to thank Senator Pat Roberts on the Senate side has dropped the same type of bill. I'm not going to ask you today how you feel. I've got another question. But Mr. Chairman, I want to thank you as I have thanked Duncan Hunter Sr. and now Mr. Skelton, our new chairman, for putting this language in the bill. And I believe sincerely that the American people want to see the stepchild become part of the family, and that would be the Department of Navy and Marine Corps. This is my question.
If the gentleman would yield.
Yes, sir, I'll yield to the chairman.
I want to assure you that the chairman of the CPAR subcommittee as well as the chairman of the full committee will include that in the base bill this year.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome.
And I thank the subcommittee chairman as well. Yesterday, I praised Secretary Gates. I praised the Admiral Mullen for their concern for the injured. And I want to praise you both as well as the Secretary of Navy and Marine Corps sitting here today. And I want to say to you, Commandant Conway, you and your wife have earned the love and respect of the Marine team. I heard this as frequently as yesterday. I spoke to a couple of ladies down at Marine Wives down at Camp Lejeune. What I want to bring to you very quickly is that there is a process and a treatment to help our soldiers and our Marines and our Navy when they have PTSD, when they have TBI, and it's called hyperbaric oxygen treatment. I would like to ask you both, and maybe the Secretary of Navy and Marine Corps sitting there today, I would like to ask you both your opinion, because I will tell you I was pleased with Admiral Mullen. He is going to have someone to come meet with me. He wants to see what we can do to move this study quicker than what it's taken now. Admiral, are you familiar with this process?
Yes, sir, I am, and the Commandant and I have talked about this in the past, And the comment that I made to him, and even though there may be some who can question the efficacy of it, my comment, if I recall, and Jim, if you want to add to it, was if it can help, if it may help, I'm in. So that's where I am. I believe that we should, for our people, explore every avenue that we can to help them recover from what are really becoming some signature wounds of this war that we're in.
So, thank you.
Sure. As I travel about, you can imagine a lot of people approach me with this idea or that in terms of how to treat TBI or PTSD. But I will tell you, I have seen none out there that I'm more encouraged by than what I would call at this point the ad hoc results of hyperbaric treatment. To the point where we have put the Assistant Commandant of the Marine Corps in charge of trying to speed the process of the protocol that Navy medicine must necessarily accomplish in order to rapidly bring this to treatment level for our Marines that we think are affected. In the meantime, there is a doctor down in New Orleans who treats people, and through some of our charitable organizations and so forth, we have sent forward those Marines suffering that we thought might be suicidal to get them into a treatment regimen, because it can't hurt. It can only help. And so even in those cases, we're encouraged by some of the things that we're seeing. So we think that we're on to something here.
Well, I want to thank Mr. Commandant, you and the Admiral for your statements. I wanted to get that on the record because I intend to work with my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to push this treatment for those in the Army and the Marine Corps, and I would really appreciate your commitments to our men and women in uniform, and thank you for those statements. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I will yield back, and thank you again for your statement earlier.
Thank you.